thank you very much. I appreciate that. And thanks to all of you for attending and traveling so far to be here. I was thinking and getting ready for this presentation about sales, about business development, and I remember a number of years ago, it doesn't feel like that long ago, but a number of years ago, I was going to give a speech on developing a sales culture at a conference for law firms. And my daughter, Kelsey, she was about this tall, she was asking, where I was going. I'm packing the suitcase, getting ready to go. I tell her where I was going to go, and she says, what do you talk about when you go? Who do you talk to all these people? What do they listen about? I was like, well, first of all, I don't know if they listen at all. But what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to go teach lawyers how to sell things. That's what I'm going to talk about. And she actually paused. She was about 5 at the time, and she said, well, it's like a lemonade stand, right? Well, it's a little more complicated than that as I'm packing all my stuff into this bag and all my binders and materials. And she says, well, if it's hot outside and you sell good lemonade, people will come often, and if you do, there's a lot of cars, and if it's good, they'll tell their friends and come back, right? I said, yeah, that's pretty much it. So can you go to this conference? That would be great, because that's kind of it. It's really that simple sometimes. Is the product good? Is it a place where people need the help? Is it good enough to tell a friend? Can you do it over and over again? Good service. Those kinds of genuine principles of selling things, driving revenue, getting more growth. Next time I look at it, Kelsey might have a franchise of lemonade stands all over town. But a lot has changed since then, since I talked to her. First of all, Kelsey is now older. Well, she's like this tall now next to me. She's 20. She's at university. And first of all, every time I see a picture of her, she doesn't have a cup of lemonade in her hand, first of all. That's for sure. Second of all, world's a little bit different now. World's a little bit more complicated. And there's reasons for that. The economy, our competition, intrusion of non-legal services or non-accountant services or alternate dispute services coming in and starting to offer some of the things that we typically only were allowed to do in the past. But the biggest change, everything, is our customers, our clients. They're demanding all these different things. They realize that we have power over the fees that are charged, the engagements, how long they are, how much we pay for other services. They're in control, and things have changed. So when I did selling development and business development training at a law firm, it was not easy back then. I'll tell you, it's almost like washing a cat. I've always think it's like washing a cat. First of all, nobody wants the bath, okay? Everybody ends up getting a little bit angry, a little bit painful, and everybody ends up dirtier in the end. And it's the same thing when I was teaching sales to law firms. They didn't want to do it. They really just wanted to focus on the work. We had one of those law firms that for certain hours of the day was thinking time. We were not to be disturbed in that, not even by clients or anybody there. Boy, what a nice world that would be to go back to. We can't do that as much anymore because so much has changed. The clients are in control. And sometimes the clients are dictating the services because they're doing it themselves a lot of times. So in preparing for this presentation, I started looking at the research that's out there, things that we hear from our customers, things we hear from the expert speakers that we have, and coming up with a number of new realities, or what I'll call the 7 laws of business development and driving revenue in this environment. And so I always do something with the 7 laws, because then I instantly see everybody's pens come out and say, oh, there's going to be 7 things to write down. Hopefully you'll find them useful, and hopefully you'll find them practical. Because the number 1 law that's out there is the world of profitable opportunities is getting smaller, a lot smaller. There's still plenty of work out there, and we're fighting over commodity pieces sometimes. We're fighting with our clients who are insisting on doing the work in-house. But the world of profitable opportunities that our firms can do is getting smaller, and therefore so should our focus. If you're looking still at 200,000 contacts and trying to find that next matter, or 20,000 people, or 500 people at an event, instead of 3 or 7 or even just 1, it's really an inhibitor in today's world. Because even if you are getting success with your marketing, your communications, the problem is you might start intaking work that's just not profitable, and now you have to do it. We see firms get caught with clients and matters and opportunities and deals that they don't really want, but they're doing them because that's what their marketing intake has done, and they're not that profitable. And those hours, once they're gone, they are gone forever. And there's nothing we can do about it. And it's very hard to switch our momentum. So we see firms are starting to really focus on small. Where is our most profitable opportunities going to come from? Existing clients, prospects that look like them, referral sources. It's a very limited world. And later on today, I'll be talking about the 15 people that are going to make or break each one of your fee earners a year. We'll talk about that in detail. The second thing that we'll talk about with the laws of business development is it's best to stick to what you know until something better comes around. A lot of times when we do business development and marketing and we use technology like Interaction, it's look at all the possibilities that we have. But try this exercise with any of your fee earners next time you have a meeting regarding business development. Ask them to pull out a piece of paper and take a pen, and for 30 seconds, ask them to name 5 clients they've never worked with before that they would like to work with by the end of the year. And you could do it here right now. And business development and marketing people are usually better at it, but you get first name and the second name, and then they start to slow down very, very quickly. They start looking around the room for names of logos of things, anything they can cheat off of, or out the window at names on buildings, because the world is so big. And we have just asked somebody whose best job in the world of what they do is to focus on materials, find the comma out of place in a 500-page document, and then you ask them the entire world, which one would you like to get? What piece of business would you like to get? It's all in Interaction. There's 100,000 contacts. Just tell me which one you want. You've frozen them. It's really sticking to what we know, finding those clients and doing the analysis to find the clients and prospects and referral sources that will send us new business. We know it because they've done it before, or we're this close to it, instead of worrying about the other 99,000 out there that might give us business, because it just freezes our fee earners in place. The third thing, the third law in this new reality of business development world that we live in right now, is that your main competition is good enough, big enough, and getting enough. We look at each other around the room and worry about which firm is working with the clients that we want. But the biggest competitor right now is the fact that clients are happy where they are because it's good enough. Could they pay a little bit more? Maybe. Could they save a few dollars? Maybe. Or a few pounds. I don't remember what stage I'm on sometimes, right? But it's good enough. You're approaching prospects a lot of times and basically saying to them, I would like you to fire your present provider. Switch all your things over to my firm because I've been around since 1938 and dedicated to the needs of our customers from arbitration to zoning. That's not good enough. What they have is good enough. The firm they're using is big enough, and they're getting enough from it. It's not worth the change. And some of them are just doing more of the work in-house. That is our main competition, is doing nothing, sticking to what they are. And so we can only get past that if we do focus on smaller things. The fourth law is realization. Realization is the metric of success for everything in business development. Now, if you are not a student of realization, of knowing the fact that when I send out a bill for 100 pounds and I get 90 pounds back, that's a 90% realization rate, or maybe before I even send it out the door, it gets marked down to 90 pounds because we look at the bill and we go, whoa, that's way too much. We have to write down the research, write down the hours. And then we send it to the client, and then they send it back with 85 pounds. That's what's been happening over the last 5 to 10 years. The average realization rate for most professional service firms, especially in law, has dropped from 92 to 82%. Just do the math with your turnover at your firm. Tens, hundreds of millions of potential dollars lost. And realization is a reflection of the happiness of the customer and the client. It is a reflection of the value you're providing. Are your rates correct? Are you targeting the right types of clients? Realization is your metric. It is the diagnostic of everything we do in business development. And if you are not working with your finance group to learn about that and how we can affect it, just look at certain types of matters that you do. Litigation, mergers, bankruptcies, etc. Almost 100% realization. Transactional things, or things that we could consider commodities now, real estate, tax work, some basic transactions, 80, 70%, the value is low. So realization reflects what that is. So become a student of that and use realization as your metric and incorporate it in your business development and interaction. Number 5, technology is going to make some firms winners and destroy other firms. Technology is allowing law firms to outsource e-discovery to India. It's allowing hospitals to do radiology over in the Philippines in the middle of the night and then send it back for the doctors to review. It is allowing us to connect on a global basis through social media, CRM, other things, to be able to have this constant presence in front of our clients. And the whole fact that certain lawyers, accountants, engineers, architects don't like that kind of thing is just really not an option anymore. Technology will make or break your firm. And I'm not talking about the deployment of technology, the leveraging of technology to know what my client wants today, how do I stay in touch with them, how do I know what their customer need or their company needs. Must use all these things together because there's everybody else in the room would love to have a piece of your client. Technology is essential, not optional. And the other thing's not optional, number 6, is the fact that it is time for individual fee earners to proactively manage relationships with individual clients. This time of, we'll have the marketing department manage the clients for us, or the marketing effort, or send the communications. It's like hiring someone to give your kid a hug. Technically, it works. But in spirit, it doesn't work at all. And we have the opportunity now to focus really small, to use technology, stick to what we know, have these relationships very, very close to the clients, not just calling them when the matter's going on, but actually doing a lot of talk with these clients and getting to know them personally, emotionally. And it is our job as business development professionals to coach them how to do so, as IT professionals and finance professionals to give them the information they need to make the analysis that they need, and just to make them feel more comfortable doing it through practice. Because the last thing that we need to know, number 7 law, in a smaller world with fewer profitable opportunities, is the fact that your lawyers, your accountants, your engineers, your architects, or whatever your professionals might be, their main job, besides the practice and what they do, is to make your clients richer, smarter, and happier. When I say rich, the solutions they provide, the legal counsel they provide, the designs they provide need to make it so they help your clients save or make money through new opportunities they haven't thought of, or litigation they can avoid, labor problems they don't have to worry about, whatever. If we help them, the clients, make more money, get the bonus at the end of the year, make their stockholders happy, they will continue to send us more work, and they will send it to the firms that can. One above that, though, is making them smarter. Can they make that walk down the hall to the general counsel's office, to the CEO's office, to the chairman of the board, and defend their decision that this is the right firm to use? Does using your firm make them look smart to their colleagues, their boss, their shareholders, their spouse, their partner, whoever? Mentioning your firm in conversation makes them feel smart. They will continue to use you. And finally, does it make them happier? Does using your firm, your organization, allow your customer, your client, that individual, to spend more time on the weekends with their family instead of in the office putting out yet another fire? Because our law firm, our accounting firm, or whatever it might be, did not proactively take the steps to make sure that doesn't happen. Whatever firm does that, they will use over and over again. And we can't do that for 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 customers. It's just too big. And we can't ask our lawyers and our accountants and our engineers and architects and all of them to do it either. They're focus people. Don't make the world too big. Make it small. Use technology to make it small. Use your coaching to make it small. Focus on the things that are the most profitable, and make sure we make our clients more profitable, and they will use us over and over again.